Hey, what's going on, everyone? Lauren Sisler here with AL.com, hanging with our buddy Cole Cubelic. You can catch him on the radio in the mornings on WJOX with Greg McElroy, 7 to 10 a.m. Also catch him on the sidelines. He'll be on the SEC Network, whatever the game of the week is. And what do they got for you guys this week?
Southern Miss at Alabama.
All right.
Saturday night, SEC Network.
You can catch that Saturday night. And also going down this week, Auburn back home, Jordan-Hare Stadium, taking on Georgia State. Let's get into this one for another episode of Head to Head.
Let's go now, oh, now, now, oh, let's go now, oh, can't stop us, oh, let's go now, oh, now, oh.
Okay, so Auburn comes into this one as a 24-point favorite. Not a lot to talk about there, and we will get into a little bit of this matchup towards the end, but obviously we got to talk about this loss to Penn State. I want to get your thoughts on what you saw from this team. Being in Happy Valley, I have to admit, having some flashbacks, watching that environment, it feels darn good to have fans back in the stands in college football, wouldn't you say?
Oh, I don't think there's any doubt. First couple of games I've been to this year, seeing that LSU band getting fired up Saturday night before the game, hearing Tom Petty play right before the fourth quarter in the Swamp, hearing the PA announcer say it's football time in Tennessee before the Vols run through the tee. It's been incredible. I mean, even hearing a little Sweet Home Alabama at Bryant-Denny for the Mercer game was pretty cool, just to hear the fans getting back into it. So all of those traditions being back, it only makes college football better.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, obviously Penn State fans brought it. But hey, I want to applaud the Auburn fans too. That was a whiteout game. Everybody showed up. But I felt like I actually covered the Boston College Temple game, so I was on a flight to Philadelphia, and that plane was loaded up with Auburn fans. So the Auburn fans, I felt, turned out, obviously, to see this new look Auburn football team. First big road game for Bo Nix and this squad, and obviously they came up short. Final score 28-20. Overall, just your thoughts on. Did you feel like Auburn had every chance to win that football game on Saturday night?
I'm not going to say every chance. They had multiple chances to win that game. You had multiple chances to go tie the game late. And honestly, Lauren, that's about where you want to be. You're going into that environment, a team that's ranked ahead of you, a team whose staff and personnel has been together longer than you have. So there's a better understanding of how you're going to manage things. There were other opportunities that I think Auburn could have taken advantage of to maybe make the score going into that fourth quarter, or once they got to the middle of the fourth quarter, a little bit different. But I was proud of the fight. I was proud of the tenacity. I thought the team played hard. I thought that there were times when you could have gotten very concerned about how the team would react to certain things that either didn't go their way or that Penn State made happen, and they continued to show resiliency and be able to bounce back. We look at it now. I told you on this show a week ago, tank. We can talk about whether Tank's going to make it through the whole year, but we knew he was going to be fresh for this one.
Yeah.
So get near 40 carries or touches at least. That's what I thought it would be. Didn't really get to that, and I think the defense did dictate a little bit of that. But I felt pretty good about the growth that we saw from Bo Nix. Mm-hmm. And we can say whatever we want about the 4th and 2. Should that have been the play call? You can go a lot of different directions in that. Easy to say it now. I feel like 4 is your best player. He's got to touch the football. I think Bo Nix, what he does best is probably run. And I think you have Tank Bigsby your best player. Some sort of an option between those is what I personally would have liked to have seen. But let's not act like that offensive line was pushing people around all night. Mm-hmm. They were not. I feel like there's a little bit of a false narrative floating around about how good the Auburn offensive line played. I didn't see it that way. They barely sniffed the second level of that Penn State defense, and the tackles were atrocious in pass protection. So I thought Bo Nix managed that well. He was able to hit some nice throws up the seam. He showed, even though things didn't go well at times, the ability to mentally and emotionally stay in that game, not get caught up, not let things really get to him and rattle him. And listen, execution was ultimately why that 4th and 2 didn't work. I mean, he threw the ball 4 yards out of bounds and to the back pylon. If the coverage is what it showed, it's 4th down. You have to give that receiver a chance to make a play. If they intercept it and run it back at that point, what does it matter? But you're trying to win the game. So I thought the ball placement was poor. Could have been executed a little bit better. But I really did think we saw some growth from Bo Nix. Now, can he get better? Absolutely. I can tell you, when I go back and when I watch the film, I can literally see the mental struggle that he has from his first 2 years to this year. It's almost like the old cartoons with, the Bo Nix devil and the Bo Nix angel on one side. And that devil saying, run, boy, run for your life. Get out of here. Don't trust that offensive line. And then the angel's over here saying, no, do what the coaches tell you to do. Play within the scheme and the system. Stay in the pocket. Because you'll see his feet move, and it's like his body's saying, no, stay. But his feet automatically just want to go. So, I can literally watch it happening when I'm watching the film. I think he'll continue to grow out of that. And I think he'll be able to go back and see that and say, okay, I can still calm down a little bit more. I can still get my footwork, my technique, my fundamentals a little bit better, and then I can potentially improve down the road. Defensively, you got to get a pass rush. Bottom line. Sean Clifford is not Patrick Mahomes. He's not even Kerry Collins. And you're going to allow him that much time in the pocket to be able to survey and diagnose and go through his progressions to be able to make plays. Literally just cannot happen. Had to find a way to dial something else up to be able to move him off platform, affect the pocket, affect him somehow, some way.
Yeah, those guys made Sean Clifford look really good. 87.5 completion percentage. That's the highest in the game for a Penn State player. They made that guy look really good. So I think the pressure on the quarterback, obviously a key area. The secondary not grading out too well in this one. Being able to,
Well, you're asking the secondary to stay on guys for 8, 9, 7, 10 seconds.
Yeah.
That's asking a lot. I thought Smoke Monday played a very physical game, which is something towards the end of last year we didn't always see him do. Thought he came up and played a ferocious style football game. I thought the linebackers played well, but I don't care. Roger McCreary, Deion Sanders, Darrell Green, you're asking a guy to stick with somebody for 8 to 12 seconds. That's too much. You cannot do that. So, and then you look down the schedule and you see Bryce Young and you see Matt Corral and you see Max Johnson and you see KJ Jefferson. It's like, you go watch the Mississippi State film. That kid was throwing darts in that game over the weekend. Like, Will Rogers looked great. There are a lot of really good quarterbacks on that schedule.
Yeah.
And if you're not able to affect those guys, this defense is going to have more long days ahead.
Yeah, Cole, and I know there's no moral victories in football here. Auburn obviously didn't get the job done, but I love the attitude. I love the mentality, and you know that kind of attitude and mentality and the culture that's being bred there is going to pay dividends down the road. And so where that goes remains to be seen, but we'll see how things shake out. Obviously back in Jordan-Hare Stadium against the Georgia State team, 24-point favorites for Auburn. Not expecting anything crazy, maybe nothing too glamorous, but I think these guys get back in here. I think you see some explosive plays. I think they're going to run the football well. My prediction on the score here is I'm going to go 42-17.
Wow, you're confident that they just go back right to where they were before the Penn State game. I don't know if it's going to be that much. It's hard for me not to anticipate a little bit of a letdown.
Yeah. A
little bit of being emotionally flat going into this game. Now, I do think Brian Harson's a guy that can prevent that maybe more so than a lot of other head coaches in college football, but it's just natural. And the lead up to that game, what that game was, how it was marketed, how it appeared to be, and how it came down to the end, I just expect a little bit of an emotional letdown. And like you said, there are going to be a couple of guys that are out for either nagging injuries or obviously missing some time for other things, so might not have the full allotment that you would normally have going into a big game. I'm going to say 32-7, Auburn gets this win. I do think that they still show on the ground that they can be a team that has success. I think it'll be a more dedicated ground attack, and then they're going to want to work their pass protection. So I do think you'll see Bo Nix drop back. That offensive line has to get more reps. They have to find ways to potentially help the tackles in games that are coming up down the road, because Arkansas can get it off the edge, Georgia can get it off the edge, LSU can get it off the edge, Bama can get it off the edge. Ole Miss even's got a guy who can get it off the edge. So you've got to begin to prepare for what you're going to see, and reps are the best way to do that. So it's not an offense that I think is extremely full of firepower that's coming into Jordan-Hare Stadium. I expect the defense to have a good day, but I'll go 32-7. Auburn gets the win.
It's guaranteed that I die a legend. Yeah, son God, homie, I'm reverend. Preach, just protecting my investment. Ask about me, integrity's not a question.